Hello, I'm about to do my persuasive speech on the importance of donating blood, and this is my audience. Okay, giving blood saves lives. There is no greater gift than giving blood. So you may ask, who can donate? First of all, let's imagine being the mother who has just given birth to a child that has had a major heart defect and is in need of a blood transfusion. Or imagine being the mother who has just given birth, who has lost a large amount of blood and needs a blood transfusion in order to survive. You see, I was one of those people. And you may know someone who has needed a blood transfusion or who has had to have a blood transfusion in order to survive. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of giving blood, blood types, blood groups, and how you can save a life. According to the American Heart Association, every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs blood in order to survive. So who can donate blood? Usually anyone that's at least 16 years of age with a parent's permission or older. You can donate blood. And there are certain procedures that you have to go through to donate blood. First, you would book an appointment at a facility such as the American Red Cross Foundation, American Red Cross Association, or you can sign up at a local blood drive. You schedule an appointment, you go into the appointment, you sign in, you show your ID as proof of who you are. They usually give you a questionnaire to fill out. And on this questionnaire, there's usually about 40 plus questions asking you about your health history, places you've traveled to, any over-the-counter or prescription medications that you may have taken, or any diseases that you may have. And after you've done that questionnaire, they usually do a mini physical. The mini physical usually consists of blood pressure check, your pulse check, temperature, and also they'll do a finger prick. And from the fingerprint, they usually be able to tell your blood type and your hemoglobin level. And they usually like to know these things just to ensure that you're able to donate. And once you're cleared from that, they'll usually escort you to an area, usually a cot that's set up that may have many people in one room. And a phlebotomist will come in. She'll prep your arm, do a prick to get a vein. And once she's got a vein, the process usually starts. And depends on the type of donation that you're trying to do. Each donation takes different amount of time, but the most common donation usually takes about an hour and usually 8 to 10 minutes for the blood draw itself. So let's look at the different types of donations that we have. First, we have the whole blood donation. Whole blood donation is usually the most common type that we give. Most of the time when I give whole blood is usually what I do. With the whole blood donation, it includes all of your white blood cells, red blood cells, platelets, and plasma. That's everything given through the whole donation. And usually they transfer the blood within its whole form and the components. And this can be used by multiple people. This is usually used for people that fight cancer, chronic disorders, trauma victims. Most of those type of people use whole blood donation. And usually you can be at least 16 years of age. Of course, like I said, with the parent's permission to donate whole blood. Weigh at least 110 pounds and be in good health for whole blood donation. And After whole blood donation, we have the power red blood donation. This is just basically where the red blood cells are extracted from the blood and all the other components are returned back to the body. Whole blood donation, power red donation, which is your red cell donation, it usually takes about an hour and 30 minutes just because you're separating components out of the blood and returning them back to the donor. And they use a special type of machine to extract those components. And this type of donation is type specific, meaning only certain type of blood types can donate this type of red cells. And that includes type O, positive or negative, A negative, and B negative donors only can do the red blood cell donation. And it's gender specific. Usually if you're a male, you have to be at least 17 years of age, be about 5'1" in height, and weigh at least 130 pounds. And if you're a female, you can be at least 19 years of age, 5'5" in height, and weigh at least 150 pounds for red cell donation. And then we have what we call platelet donation. And with platelets are what causes our blood to clot. So with platelet donations, they use a special machine for this one also, and your platelets are extracted and everything else is returned back to the body. And this type of donation is only done at Red Cross blood centers. And it also is blood type specific, meaning all blood type donors except O negative and B negative can donate platelets. And platelet donation has to be used within 5 to 7 days. So that's why platelet donation is so important, because you only have a certain amount of time to use those, and then you have to have more donors to come in and provide those. So this process usually takes about 3 hours. And the questionnaire alone is extensive. And this platelets are mainly used for cancer patients and patients with chronic diseases. You also have plasma donation, and just like some of the other donations, they extract the plasma and they return the other components back to the donor. Plasma donation is specific because it's also known as the AB elite donor. So this is specific to blood type AB. They're the ones that can donate plasma. The blood is drawn from one arm and returned back to the donor along with saline. Many people say this is a easier type to do because they don't feel as sluggish after donating plasma versus whole blood. It usually takes about 15 minutes more than whole blood donation. And it's used in burn victims, trauma victims, and cancer patients. And you can donate plasma every 28 days or at least 13 times a year. Okay, blood groups. Our blood groups are AB, A, B, and O. And from those blood groups are derived our blood types. And the negative or the positive on our blood types are specific to the antigens. So that's the presence or the absence of the antigen or the Rh antigen on your blood. So after the blood groups, we have our blood types. So blood types are O positive, and this is the most common blood type. O positive is. Then you have like your A positive, which is also the second most common type. And you have your B positive, your AB positive, your O negative, your A negative, your B negative, and your AB negative. And depending on your blood type, depends on what type of blood you can receive. So it's important to know your blood type so you know what blood type you're eligible to receive. And let's see what's next. And this is a chart that tells us about that. Okay, so giving blood saves lives. There's no simpler way to put it. Giving blood saves lives. So today I've talked to you about giving blood, the importance of giving blood, the blood types, blood groups, and how you can save a life. Many people are helped through blood donations. That's why it's so important to give blood. I would say I myself, I'm a blood donor. Because I've received blood, I felt like it was just so important to give blood. And the sources that I've used for this speech are, of course, the American Red Cross Association, medline.org, WebMD, and then I also used a book titled Donating Blood, What You Need to Know. So those are my sources that I use for the article. So I suggest to you to go to the AmericanRedCross.org, schedule an appointment today, be a hero, save a life. Thank you.